To another bad 66 Chevelle video. It's been a little while since I made a video, and I thought I'd make an update. And I've looked everywhere out there, and I cannot find a good Turbo 350 rebuild video set. So I decided to make my own. So I hope this helps a lot of people out there, and this is what I'm going to do for my truck that this is going to go into. Now this is a short tail. One way by telling it is a short tail, just take your handy dandy tape measure right here and measure from this point right here back. And as you can see, we got about 6 inches on that, which is about, there we go, it's a little better. Like the camera's making it look like it. But anyway, this is a short tail shaft. There we go. This is a 6-inch tail shaft. Now, if this was a 9-inch, the tail shaft would be back a little further. Now, a lot of your 70s square body Chevrolet trucks had the 9-inch. While your car short tail Turbo 350s had the short tail, just like this one right here. Really, the only difference is just the tail shaft. And you can actually take this short tail shaft and convert it over to a long tail if you need it. However, you'd have to have a different planetary set and then a longer output shaft and a tail housing. But you're able to do that. A lot of these are really not that different. This one is a newer Turbo 350. The one I currently have in my C10 is a little bit older. It's an earlier model because this one has the spark control stuff on it, which that's what this is right here. Now the one I have in my truck does not have this, which that does not matter. That ain't no big deal. Now I got this transmission for free, and as you can see, it's missing a few items, which that's not a big deal. We're missing our dipstick right here and our tube, which that's no big deal. I can remove that off my other one and use it on this one. And it had a kick down cable on it, and I've already removed that. And the only reason I removed that is it's not going to be able to work with my carburetor set up, so I'll be able to reuse that one off my other Turbo 350. But basically everything else is pretty much the same. This is a non-lockup unit. One way you can tell is on the front here. This is a non-lockup. If this was a lockup, it'd be a little bit longer further out. From here to here, it'd be a little bit longer. And have actually a little O-ring around it. Because a lot of your lockup units have a little bit longer shaft on your input. Now, one thing I've did I would recommend is get this book right here. This is a nice book. I love it. It's very, very detailed. I mean, it's really a nice book. It shows you all the tools you need. All your snap ring pliers, your picks. Now I went ahead and bought a couple tools. I had to get this. Now this is for your low and reverse piston. You have to compress that in order to get a snap ring out. That's located about right in here in this general area. That's the last thing that actually one of the first things that gets put in when you assemble it, and one of the last things you remove when you take it apart. Now they're using a little bit different one, but I'm using mine. These have little tabs on it that hook on the lugs into the case. If you can see that. This one was 40 bucks. I looked all over the place and I wasn't paying $80. And this was on eBay for 40. Now this one's supposed to work for a Turbo 350 and a 700R4 transmission. Now a Power Glide has got a little different one, so I'll have to order one for a Power Glide. Because I got a Power Glide I'm going to actually rebuild later on. Well, as you can see, this is a really, really nice detailed book. One thing I like too that I want to point out is it shows your check ball locations. That's very, very important. There it is right here. So you have your check balls. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Light really sucks in here. There you go. That's your check ball locations. That's a big, big help. And they even took a marker right there and even highlight them out so you can see it. That makes a big, big help here. Because that's one of the one big things right there is you got to make sure your check balls are in the right locations, and you got to make sure that all of them are there. Now, if you had a shift kit, one of them gets removed. But you always want to make sure that your check balls are in the right spot. There's your lower and reverse piston right there. Let's see, they're using their coil spring. See, there's a spring right here. You got to compress this to get the snap ring out. This is a really nice book. Shows you how to clean the case and your assembly. It even tells you how to replace the bushings. It's just a really nice book. See, there's your output shaft now. If all you have to do is really just swap this output shaft out, and you can make it from a 6" to a 9" if you want it. Now, one thing I want to point out too is all your Turbo 350s take a 1310 series yoke. This is just old used one I got just to keep dirt and trash out of my unit. The one thing you want to check too on these yokes, a lot of times you can kind of reuse them, but you want to take and rub down in here with your nail, make sure you don't catch no grooves. Now this one's still actually okay, it's no groove there, but however, there's a little weep hole on the back here. It's hard to see, but it was actually letting transmission fluid leak out a little bit. Some people seal them up with RTV. I don't like doing that. I just take and buy a new one. Because I don't like messing around with leaks. I can't stand leaks. It's one of my pet peeves. But this is just going to be a short video series, and I'm going to try and keep it detailed as I can on how to rebuild a Turbo 350. We got to see here, we got to replace our governor cover. That's no big deal. You can get just about anything for these transmissions. I mean, they're really, really pretty inexpensive to rebuild. They're really not that bad. Honestly, a Turbo 350 is a little bit easier to rebuild than a Power Glide, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. This Turbo 350's got 2 planetary gear sets, so Power Glide only has 1. But this is just going to be a short video series. I hope this helps people out there. One thing you want to get to is get you a magnetic tray like that. That's just a small one I got. I got a big one somewhere else. One thing you want to do too is make sure everything turns right before you even tear it apart. I've already done that. So everything's turning good. Got a little bit of mud divers right there, but that ain't no big deal. See, all that's turning good. Now, as the engine was running, it would be turning this direction. One thing you can check too is your end play. This one feels like it's pretty good. Just pull the shaft just a little bit. See how it moves up and back? This one feels pretty good because they're supposed to have about 30 to 40 thousandths, I believe. That feels about right. You have to have in play there. You don't want it too tight and you don't want it too sloppy either. You don't want it too loose. That one feels like it's pretty good. I'm going to double check everything anyway. This is going to be my first true transmission rebuild. Because I'm not paying, I will never pay $1,000 again just to rebuild a transmission. I think it's ridiculous. When you can go out there and you can get a kit for these Turbo 350s for about, anywhere from $100 to $175. And then get your torque converter for like another maybe $100, $125. This is just going to be a stock rebuild and ain't going to be nothing special. Just put it back together stock, and I'm going to clean it up and paint it real nice and basically put it in my truck. Now the one that's in my truck, it's nothing wrong with it. It shifts good and everything, but it's leaking. It's got so many leaks it ain't funny. The rear seal is leaking on my other unit. The pan's is leaking all around, and I'm not sure if the seal has actually failed on the other one out there or not, but I'm getting a little bit of oil. I don't know if it's coming from the seal or if it's coming from my rear main, but I'm pretty sure it's coming from the seal on my transmission. And plus my shifter link is just leaking a little bit. And when I actually got this transmission for free, this one actually almost think you can almost just put this one in the way it is. Now I'll have to order another governor cover unless I might be able to straighten that. But that ain't no big deal. I might just rob the other one off my other transmission and put it on here. But I hope this helps people out there. But this is just going to be a video series on rebuilding a Turbo 350. I'm going to try and make some sets of how to do a power glide too, because I got a power glide. But I hope this helps people out there. Anyway, stay tuned, and thanks for watching, and subscribe.